Hey guys, my name is Chris if you didn't already know, and welcome to my show, SmegChris Review. Before I review a movie, I want to quickly talk about the television show, Westworld. I have just finished watching all 3 seasons, and I want to start off by saying, what's all the hoopla? I've tried getting into it, because everybody keeps telling me how great it is, and I'm just sat there thinking, when does it get great? Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's like bad or anything, it's just very, very complicated and very hard to follow those storylines. But I will point out that the 3rd season, I really did enjoy that one. For those of you who don't know, Westworld is based on a film of the same name, a film that I've actually never seen. The film was written and directed by Michael Crichton, the guy who created Jurassic Park. And it's pretty much the same premise, except this time instead of dinosaurs, it's robots that take over the park. They call them hosts, and their storylines get a bit repetitive because they're there to entertain visitors, and their stories pretty much repeat all the time. However, some things start going wrong and some of these hosts actually start remembering things. There is actually a clever plot twist in the 1st season where we see one character who we find out is actually another character but later on. However, this starts causing headaches because you're seeing 2 storylines for the same character but in different time zones. And this is something that they continue doing in the 2nd season with another character. That one was more of a head scratcher. But there's been a lot of plot twists, finding out certain characters are actually hosts. And you've got hosts who break free of their programming and start to evolve. And let's not mention the fact that some hosts end up going into other hosts and sort of duplicate themselves in these hosts. That's when things got really confusing. But I have to admit, it's got a stellar cast. And also the theme tune. I love the theme tune. It's always stuck in my head. That might be because I kind of binge watched the show. But like I said, I thought the 3rd season was definitely the best one. I mean, yeah, we saw a few flashbacks, but the main plot line was all one timeline. There was no like going back and forth and stuff like that. As for whether or not I'll be watching any more when they finally get around to doing them, yeah, I think I will. As long as they don't start confusing me again. But I do have to say, it's one of those shows that's not going to end up in my collection. I feel like it's worth watching just the once. And now on to my review of the movie Fast and Furious 9. Wow, there's been so many. Actually, that's 10 now because we've got to count Shaw and Hobbs as well, who for the most part are missing from this film. Now, one of the things that really annoys people about the Fast and Furious films is the fact that they go way over the top. It's just action, 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 and it's always completely absurd. Like in Fast and Furious 8 when The Rock kicks a torpedo across an ice after a submarine fires it at him. Yeah. However, I'm not saying that there's no absurdity in this one, it's just not all the time. In fact, it feels like they've actually calmed down a lot of stuff in this film. There's one moment where one of the characters actually jokes about how many silly adventures they've had over the years, and then an hour later he's in a car with rockets in space. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I think that's the most absurd thing they did in this film. As for the story, we find out that Dom actually has a brother, and we see a lot of what happened to him through flashbacks. And that's what I liked about this film, that there was more drama, there was more moments of people talking and character development. And as for the action, there wasn't as much as there usually is. We also get a character that apparently died in a previous movie come back from the dead, and he comes out with this long convoluted story of how he faked his death. I'm still a bit confused on that one. But of course it becomes a story about Dom and his group of friends go up against his brother who's hell-bent on, I don't know, abducting some sort of satellite to like do something. I can't actually remember what. Of course you've got your usual car chases, big explosions and lots of gun shooting. Of course the closer to the end we got to, some things were happening and I was like, yeah, I know exactly what's going to happen with this character. I'm not going to spoil it. And I was right. And I actually like the way it ended. Oh, and there is a bit of a cliffhanger as well. Because we do get to see Jason Statham right at the end. I'm leaving it at that. But from what I've read, the next one should be the last one. However, I've got this feeling because we've had Hobbs and Shaw, we're just going to have all these other spin-off movies. They've got enough characters for that. But I'm going to have to say that I feel like this film is probably the weakest of the franchise. And that includes Tokyo Drift. And the fact is the film is on for 2 hours and 20 minutes or so, something like that. I felt every minute of it. I do feel that the film went on a little bit too long. But I have to say, John Cena, for once, was serious the entire movie. Never seen him do that before. In conclusion, I give Fast and Furious 9 it's not all bad, but it's not all good either. And there you go, that's my review of Fast and Furious 9. It's now time for me to go. All that's left for me to say is thank you for watching and subscribing if you have, and liking this video if you did. Until the next time, peace out. You know, one of the things I was thinking about when I was watching Fast and Furious 9 was, I'm pretty certain the first movie came out 20 years ago. Let me double check that. Yep, I was right, 2001. And I was just thinking, really? They've done all these films over the span of 20 years? And to think it started off where you've got this cop going undercover to do these races to try and get these bad guys, and then they all become this family eventually and span over many movies. And it's not just the films I like. I remember the tour at Universal Studios in California, and right at the end of that tour they've got this massive 3D event of Fast and Furious that you get involved with. And just like the films, what happened there was very absurd, but I loved it anyway. But I've got a feeling that the 10th movie, if it is the last one, they're going to go really absurd. Shall I try and predict what? Cars that fly. That's what they're going to do. Cars that fly. And I just want to point out, if I'm right, don't blame me for it.